Hey everybody, it's Jeremy from Lighthouse Creative Co., offering creative production and consulting services for artists of all kinds in all places. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and go down and like and subscribe, and also hit the bell icon and you'll get notified anytime I put out new content. I've really been enjoying making these videos for you. I hope you've been enjoying watching them. I hope you're learning something cool and creating awesome things. Today's going to be a little bit of a quicker video, but it's something that I really love doing, and it's a cool little trick that can give you real custom sounds, especially when it comes to creating your own kind of pad. So we're in Ableton Live, and the thing we want to do is we're going to take a synth sound for us today. We're going to take a synth sound, we're going to run that into a reverb, and then we're going to solo that reverb and sample it, and then we're going to take that sample and turn it into a pad. Sounds a little complicated, but it's really not. So we have one of my favorite synths already pulled up. This is the Tal Audio Uno LX version 2. This is just a great software emulation of a Juno. This is what it sounds like dry. So really bright, really synthy, that's not what we want. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to bring the sub oscillator down. That way the saw wave is still prominent, but we still got some low end in there. And the next I'm going to bring the frequency down and really shape this. I like that. Next thing that we're going to want to do is we want to play with some of the attack and release parameters. So we're going to bring up some release. We want this sound to kind of drop off in time, not just disappear. I'm going to put that decay all the way up so it stays at that volume. And the last thing we want to do is bring up the attack to make it nice and slow. All right, I like that. I think that's good. Now, the real part of this comes in when we play with the reverb. My first video that I made for you guys is when I showed you how to create a shimmer reverb in Ableton. If you want that video, it's right here, or I'm going to link it down in the description as well, and you can go watch that and figure out how I make this reverb. But once you do, you know how to do this. And so we have my smooth shimmer reverb pulled up into a return track here. And now we just want to send some of this synth to it. And so I'm going to start sending some synth into the reverb. Now that we have some synth going into the send itself, I'm going to solo the reverb. That way we only hear the reverb signal. So come over here, we have it soloed. So right away, I know I'm going to change a few things. Remember, down in this reverb section, we have 2 octaves mod vocoders, and you'll if you watch the video that I made about making this reverb, you'll understand why we use a vocoder. But I'm going to turn one of those off. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play around with this formant, just the sound that vocoder makes. I really like how that's coming. It's kind of haunting, it's kind of airy, still got a little bit of warmth in there. So I'm going to say that's what I want to turn into a pad. So now that we have that, we're going to come back into over here, and we're going to add another audio track. So we got an audio track coming. We're going to name this sample. Come down here to the audio from, and we're going to point the audio from our smooth shimmer reverb that's over here in our return track into here. Now we're going to arm it, and we're going to turn it off. And now we're just going to click on the sample, and we're just going to hit this middle C right here and sample the C. Doesn't have to be a long sample because we're going to play around with the middle section. But now we have our sample you see here. This is just the reverbed section because we pulled the audio straight from our Smooth Shimmer reverb and we recorded that. So now the next thing we need to do is we're going to bring in another MIDI track. We're going to name this Simpler because over here in our instrument menu, we're going to bring in the Simpler instrument. And now we're going to drag and drop that sample into the Simpler instrument. So now that it's here, when we hit this C, it plays. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to increase the volume so we can hear it a little better, 0 dB. So that's great. So we have that C going, but you just heard if I try to play another note, such as the F below, you kind of hear it going like dot, 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 dot. That's because the sample is trying to sync to the tempo that it's at. And so we're going to go ahead and turn off this warp, and that allows us to have a smooth sample on any note. So now what we want to do is we want to start shaping this sample to be more of a synth, to be more of a playable sound. So the first thing we need to do is we need to take this start here, because all this space, we're going to take this start up just past to where the original attack goes, and we're going to bring the length down because we don't need it all the way over here. And we're going to take this loop section and bring it down because we want the sample to re-trigger itself at, you know, where the volume is consistent throughout. So I'm going to pick this section right here, and then this fade button, and fade only turns on when warp is off. So bring up that fade, and this allows us to trigger that sample, and it will loop inside itself so we can hold it as long as we need. So you still hear we got that little bit of click in that attack. We're going to bring the start up a little bit. And now the way we really can get into this is start shaping it with the ADSR controls. So we're going to bring up that attack. And now we're going to bring up the release. And the last thing we want to do is we want to increase these voices to about 12. That gives us just a little more playing room on the keyboard. And now that once you have those, you have a very playable, custom made from whatever sounds you can come up with into a pad. And the cool thing about Simpler is that it already includes a frequency and resonance cutoff here. So you already have some low pass ability with this pad. So here's it wide open, and then you can roll it down. And that's how you make it. That's how you take a synth sound and you take a reverb and then you put them together and you sample it and you create your own cool pad. I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to go down, like and subscribe, hit the bell icon so you get notified when I make another one. See you there.